Welcome back, guys, to another video. So, as requested from my Instagram page, I wanted to do a topic on this video because there are a lot of menaces out there to society. So, this video, I'm going to be telling you what you need to do to make your Mustang GT actually sound good. Wow. And what do I mean by that? I mean, none of that annoying rasp. So, let's start with why does the rasp even happen? So obviously these Coyote motors are prone to it. They're high revving. There's a lot of factors that go into the rasp, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to rock with that. So when you delete the resonator on these cars, it does create rasp. A lot of that rasp is controlled by the resonators on the stock system. So to obviously negate that, you can go with a resonated H-pipe or X-pipe. X-pipe is going to always cause more rasp. To give you a full comparison, X-pipe gives you that screaming, exotic, high RPM sound, whereas H-pipe gives you that deep, throaty, muscle tone that chances are you're probably looking for. Now, if you have the stock active system, it sounds really good from factory in itself. Honestly, it doesn't need much. You can go ahead and put an H-pipe. It'll give you more volume that you're looking for without sacrificing a lot of tone, which is honestly going to be more than enough for most people. The X-pipe with the stock active does sound good as well. You are going to get a bit more rasp than the H-pipe setup, but it's still going to sound good regardless. Personally, for me, I love the sound of these cars, although I don't recommend necessarily going catless. So let's move on to the next part. Headers, right? When you go catless headers on these cars, that's what causes all that clappity, super rasp sound. Take it from me. On my S550, I had a X-pipe into stock actives. Probably should have left it there, but you know, live and learn. I did a Corsa Extreme, which I know is like literally the most extreme setup, pun intended, for these Mustangs. And I did Corsa catless headers. Holy God, it was loud. There was no other way to explain it. It was wake the dead loud. Honestly, I like loud, but it was very embarrassing for me to drive because it was so heat. So what did I do? Took off the Corsa Extreme, sold that on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a custom system made with bigger mufflers and better valves so that in quiet mode, it was actually manageable. And at the same time though, I still was running catless headers. So it was still super raspy and I wasn't particularly a fan of it. And I kind of just tolerated it because I spent a lot of money on these headers and the install and everything that I just kind of put up with it. And it made me honestly start to not like the car as much as I would if realistically I just had cats in the car or I just kept the exhaust with the original setup, which was the X-pipe and the active system. What do I have done to this car? And what do I recommend for headers? I definitely think that for headers, you got to go high flow cats or green cats. A lot of people on Instagram were telling me that I'm setting people up for failure because they do burn out. But yes, they do. They absolutely do if you're boosted. But there's a lot of people that live a long time. And if you can catch it before it's too late, you're not going to blow your motor. But I think if you're boosted, you got to just deal with it and get catless and use a resonated H-pipe into a low tier. And when I say low tier, I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about sound. Compared to the extremes is like a Borla S-type or a Corsa Sport, something like that that's not ridiculously loud. You want to minimize that rasp because you have catless headers. It's still going to be there, make no mistake. But if you have resonated mid pipes with a strong muffler system, I think you'll be okay. So headers on this car. If you're watching this, it's the weekend. I mean, I'm probably going to have this video up later in the week, but to give you reference, tomorrow, the car is going into the shop, the long-awaited shop day I talked about in the previous videos. So, what are we getting done? We got stainless, power, long tube, 1 7/8 catted headers, high-flow catted headers, that is. Now, I'm pretty confident that this is not going to be a ridiculously raspy setup. Based off videos I've seen online, I purposely went with the S-type axleback on the car for the sole purpose of minimizing rasp rather than going the attack. And I do believe having high flow cats is going to be beneficial for me to not have that rasp that I'm really not looking for. So for the full system on the car, I definitely would recommend you go with headers. It's just going to cause volume and more power, but catted headers, okay? Then into a resonated or non-resonated H pipe, and you can honestly leave the active system. It's probably the best move to do. If you're gonna go with an axle back kind of system, go with a Borla S-type, go with a Corsa Sport, go with an AWE system, something that is not going to be obnoxiously loud. So to summarize this video, okay, if you have the stock active system and you don't want to go overboard, the H pipe or the X pipe into the stock system is going to be plenty loud. There's many videos on my channel where I actually show what this sounds like. If you scroll way down, I do a good test and a drive-by sound to give you a representation of the Roush H pipe that I still currently have on the car that is non-resonated with the stock active system. Then I also have many different videos of my Borla S-type system that I put on the car. It's an axle back that connects to my Roush H pipe because I was going to get the full Borla cat back, but I felt like it didn't make any sense to buy the full system when it comes with an X pipe, firstly, which isn't what I'm not looking for. And secondly, I already spent money on the H pipe, so I got the axle back so it connects. It's one of the few options that you can get valved with an axle back. Plus, I just like Borla, and the Borla S-type is a good system. I've already stated, go with H pipe, active exhaust, probably more than enough for most people. If you go with a full system, get an axle back with an H pipe. Not a lot of systems come with an H pipe. I know AWE does, and that is the switch path system. And if you're going to go with headers, go with high flow cats. Trust me, you'll avoid the smells. You probably won't get a cell light, and it's just going to sound better with way more tone. Plus, not to mention with headers, you do gain 10, 25 wheel, maybe with a tune even more. So it's advantageous to do so. And plus, it's nasty, realistically. And the only time I would ever recommend catless headers is if you are boosted, because rather than go through the headache of clogging up your cats and burning them up eventually, because it will happen, especially if you like to do a lot of pulls, you take it to the drag strip, just go catless. And my recommendation for you guys that are running catless setups, a vibrant resonator in the mid pipe for the most cost-effective way to do it, but get a resonated H pipe from Lethal Performance. I'm not sponsored, by the way, and I think that they have the best product for the resonated H pipe. Leave the stock active. If you don't like that, get the Borla S type. That's my recommendation. So if you're boosted, catless headers, Lethal Performance resonated H pipe, stock active, or Borla S type. That's my recommendation if you're boosted. If you're not boosted, high flow cats, headers, either an H pipe or a resonated H pipe at your choice, depending on if you whether want that extra volume, and stock active or Borla S type. Now, for my general recommendation for everybody is stock active and H pipe. Even if you don't have the stock active system, go get an H pipe, see if that's enough, or hit up like a company like Valved Exhaust to get you a valve system so that you can have that loud and quiet on a switch. So I hope this video helps you guys. Like and comment, subscribe. Tons of these more informational videos coming your way. Next video dropping soon. We're going to show you the mods that we put on the car. We're doing 3 mods. 1 is headers, and the other 2 you're just going to have to stay tuned for. But trust me, they match the car perfectly, and it's going to be. So if you like this video, again, like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.